What I think is happening, and what I think is going wrong at the moment for everybody, and why we have all these reported levels of mental health issues and all these issues with body dysmorphia and everything else, is we've kind of fallen into our own mirror. We've fallen into our own self. And anybody can do that. You know, the Greek myth of Narcissus is a couple of thousand years old. It's part of human nature to do that. Occasionally, some people, sometimes. The difference is now where we've gotten to with our so-called civilization is that not only is that kind of rampant narcissism and falling into our own dark mirror more possible now than it's ever been before, because we're fed. We don't really need each other. We're not fighting a war. There's not a disease going around that we need to sort of hang on to each other for. There's money, there's clothing, there's food, there's shelter. You know, people, you know, they have their basic needs catered for. So that permits you the time and the luxury to tumble into yourself. It's not just that. If it was just that, it'd still be a problem. In fact, it is much worse. And the reason why it's much worse is because we're encouraged to do it. We're rewarded for doing it. And if you don't do it, you're punished. You say, nobody's punishing anybody for not acting narcissistically. Well, it depends on how you define punishment. It depends on what you would consider to be like a negative reinforcement to condition a rat. A punishment could be a not thing. A punishment could be the absence of something. If I take away food, I'm punishing you. If I take away light, I'm punishing you. But food and light are not being taken away here. What's being taken away here is attention. If you don't act narcissistically, you will be humiliated. Humiliated how? You'll be ignored. You'll be ignored. The big problems we're seeing in society now, and the big problems we're seeing from different elements of the culture and different groups in humanity, is the people who feel humiliated because they are being ignored. So it's not enough to just say, oh, you know, narcissistic behavior, reaction-seeking behavior is rewarded. You'll get more likes, you get more followers, you can actually build a living off that. It's that we have to actually look at the fact that, and this affects you more the younger you are, because you're more of a digital native, you're more impressionable, you have fewer boundaries, but it affects everybody, you know, right the way up to whatever age, the maximum age. You will be punished for not conforming with the narcissistic protocol. You either have to be a die-hard narcissist to be seen. You need to be a narcissist. And if you want to win that game, you have to be a psychopathic narcissist. You got to be willing to raise the black flag. You got to be willing to slit throats, to stab people in the back, to do awful things in order to even have a chance at winning that game, because everybody can't win. Sorry, that's not how systems work. If everybody's winning, nobody's winning. If everybody's losing, nobody's losing. If everybody's exceptional, nobody's exceptional. If everybody's famous, nobody's famous. So in order to get ahead, you have to be like a really, really aggressive psychopathic narcissist. And again, that is rewarded. Are you punished for not being an aggressive psychopathic narcissist? Well, if to you not being in the game, in the top 10 of the game is a punishment, then yes. I mean, to even get into the top 100 now, you're competing with the world. You're not just competing with your country, you're not just competing with your village, you're competing with the global community. By the way, a global community that has never been as large as it is now. We're in the middle of a population huge explosion. So you're competing with vast numbers of people and you're losing. You're losing. It doesn't matter how amazing you are, you're losing. You did something wonderful yesterday, it's shit today. You did something wonderful 15 minutes ago, it's shit now because other people have done it. So the degree of competitiveness has gone up so high, you have to be a narcissistic psychopath or you will, to compete. To just be seen, you've got to behave in ways that are extremely narcissistic. So what happened? Well, my personal opinion, from 2007 upward, We hit 2008, there was a huge financial crash, it was enormously traumatic. People responded with their infantile defenses, and then the technology, the use of Facebook exploded during that period of time. Broadband usage exploded globally, thankfully, happy for that. Wonderful technology, I love technology. I think social media in and of itself is a neutral tool. It could be used for amazing good, often is. It's just that we have, and we know it's not some crazy weird conspiracy theory like the CIA or the Illuminati is doing this. It's public information. They have, what are they called? Serotonin technicians. They farm serotonin. We have the executives of Facebook, or previous executives of Facebook, coming out and publicly saying, we are there to hack the human mind and to harvest human time and human attention. It's not a conspiracy theory, it's open knowledge. When your end goal is just to harvest human time and human attention for its own sake, you're building a system that is, should we say, gratuitous and pornographic to the extent that it's gratuitous. It's just pointless attention seeking for its own sake. So you have a gratuitous pornographic system that rewards gratuitous pornographic behavior. And then when young people, naming no names, burst out into the scene and act like die-hard narcissistic psychopaths, we all clutch our beads and our purses and go, oh my, how on earth could this young man or this young lady behave in such a truly immoral way? They're responding to the environment. And that's what humans do. We respond to context. We respond to games. We love games, we love stories, we love context, and we love to be in the middle of a competition. We're all competitive creatures, right? We humans who are manifesting now in the flesh in our socks today are the sperm that beat millions of other sperm by butting out the way, getting to the egg and breaking through. So competition is hardwired into us, generationally speaking. So of course we're going to compete. And of course, if you set up a game where the only profit in that particular system frame is time and attention, then you're encouraging people to behave in more and more outlandish, freakish, aggressive, cruel, non-compassionate ways. Where does compassion fit into this? You only get likes for being compassionate. You can't watch compassion. You can't ingest compassion through the eyes. Compassion is not a spectacle. Only the spectacle is rewarded. So yes, we will have scenes where a young man decides to go to a place where it is known that people commit suicide, and whoops, lo and behold, whilst wearing a comical hat, he comes across a real human tragedy, films it and puts it online. He comes across a corpse of somebody who's hung themselves. That's somebody's son. Some mother's son, some father's son, somebody's brother, maybe even somebody's father, now dead. And he, in his mind, he doesn't just film it by mistake and go, oh, that was sad, and go home and delete it. He actually makes the decision to upload it. And we all go, that's awful. Is this guy a psychopath? I'm afraid I can't join in that game. I'm afraid I can't join in with chanting burn the witch. He is responding to the system. He's responding to the environment, and it's the environment and the system that has trained him to do that. I'm not absolving him of responsibility. I'm not absolving anybody of responsibility, but I cannot play this game where we pretend that all of us are clean and pure and only the individual has the toxicity inside of them. No, it's all of us, because we let this happen, and we can't condemn the behavior that is created by a system while still enjoying the fruits of that system at the same time. That is rank hypocrisy. My suggestion would be to say it's time to reset the intent. It's wonderful technology. It's fantastic technology. How smart we as humans are to have built this. And guess what? It's free. The best stuff that's out there is free to use. I think it's time to reset the intent and say, look, what is this for? Is it for connecting people? Is it for, don't just say it's for connecting people and then make the same people argue with each other about politics, which we know you're doing. Don't just say it's for connecting people and then make people compete over who's going to get the most likes for standing there with a selfie with their arse out in a thong. Come on, you know very well what you're doing. If it really is about connecting people and it really is about positivity, then we need to reward people for positive, conscious behavior in their social media usage.